The morning sun glared off the steel hulls of the ships lined along the naval docks. Cadets in crisp uniforms marched in perfect rhythm, their boots clicking like a chorus of discipline. Among them walked a young woman, her name tag read Lieutenant Elena Brooks. Her posture was straight, her eyes steady, but behind her calm exterior, she carried a story no one there knew. It was her first day back at the naval base, not as a trainee this time, but as a communications officer. As she walked through the long corridor leading to the command hall, a group of young sailors glanced at her arm, where the sleeve of her uniform had slightly ridden up. A tattoo peeked out, a set of coordinates, inked neatly just above her wrist. Someone snickered. Guess she got lost before joining the Navy. The laughter spread quietly through the group. She didn't turn around. She didn't explain. She just adjusted her sleeve and kept walking. But the truth was, those coordinates were not random. They marked the exact location where her father's ship went down 15 years ago, a classified mission that never made it to the news. He had been a decorated officer, a man everyone respected, until the day his ship vanished in a storm during an unauthorized rescue mission. The Navy had closed the file, labeling it unsanctioned activity. But Elena knew the truth. Her father had gone back to save a crew that the system had already written off. That tattoo was her promise, to find out what really happened. Elena had fought hard to be there. She wasn't just another recruit with a famous last name, she had to fight against the whispers that followed her. The daughter of the man who broke protocol. The one who cost the Navy a ship. Every time she entered a training room, she could feel the judgment. But every time she saluted, she did it with the same hand that bore her father's coordinates. She trained harder, stayed longer, and graduated top of her class. And now, her orders had brought her back to Naval Base Honor Point, the very same base where her father had served. On her second day, she walked into the strategy room to present communication upgrade plans to the commanding officers. As she placed the folder on the table, one of the junior officers whispered again, "Guess tattoos are part of the uniform now." This time, Elena paused. She looked at him, not with anger, but with calm precision. "This tattoo," she said softly, pulling her sleeve up fully, "is a map. A map of where real courage sank beneath the sea." The room went silent. Before anyone could respond, the door opened. A tall man in his late 50s stepped in, metals shining, eyes sharp as ever. General Mason, one of the most decorated officers in naval history. He froze mid-step, his gaze landing on her arm. "Elena Brooks," he said slowly, that's your father's coordinates." She nodded. "Yes, sir." The ones they said didn't matter anymore. The general's voice softened. "They mattered. More than you'll ever know." That afternoon, General Mason called her into his office. The walls were lined with old mission maps, photos, and faded dispatches. He pulled out a classified folder and placed it in front of her. "I wasn't allowed to share this back then," he said. "Your father didn't disobey orders. He volunteered for a rescue after we lost signal from a civilian vessel caught in the storm. We couldn't authorize it in time. He went anyway, and saved 12 people before his ship went under." Elena's hands trembled as she read the report, her father's name etched next to the words "Posthumous Medal of Valor Classified." "All this time," she whispered, "they called him a traitor." General Mason shook his head. "He was the bravest man I ever knew. And that tattoo you carry, that's not shame. That's legacy." Days turned into weeks, and word spread around the base. The same people who had laughed at her tattoo now saluted her with respect. But Elena wasn't there for their approval, she was there to continue what her father started. She began working with Mason on declassified search reports, mapping ocean zones, tracing lost missions. Then one morning, during a sonar calibration drill, her team picked up faint metallic readings off the coast, matching the wreckage signatures from the lost ship. Mason authorized an exploratory dive, and Elena led it herself. The descent was silent except for the hum of the submarine. As they reached the ocean floor, a shape emerged through the murky blue, the remains of the Valor, her father's ship. Tears filled her mask as she whispered, "We found you, Dad." They recovered a rusted plaque from the hull, the ship's name barely visible. But in the debris, Elena found something else, a waterproof capsule still intact. Inside was a letter, sealed in plastic, addressed to Elena Brooks. Her father's handwriting read, "If you ever find this, it means you kept your promise. Never let them tell you who you are." Honor is not in medals, it's in the choices no one sees. When she returned to the base, the entire dock stood waiting. General Mason was there too, hands clasped behind his back, eyes proud and glassy. As Elena stepped out of the boat, still holding the capsule, Mason saluted her. "Ma'am," he said, voice breaking slightly, "welcome back." The crowd fell silent. Those who had laughed at her tattoo stood now with heads bowed, realizing what it truly meant. That evening, the base raised a flag at half-mast in honor of Captain Brooks. His record was corrected, his medal publicly awarded, and Elena's tattoo became a symbol across the fleet, of courage, legacy, and love that refused to be forgotten. Standing by the water's edge, Elena looked at the horizon, the same sea that had once taken everything from her, now giving her back the truth. She whispered, "Rest easy, Dad. They finally know who you were." The wind carried her words over the waves, and somewhere deep in her heart, she could almost hear his voice, steady, strong, and proud. "And now they know who you are too, Lieutenant."